Shout out to Shirtless Plantain Show. I met our final guest at their live show at Legends Bar, which was a pretty cool place to stop at and watch the women's match before all of that went down. Uh, it was a wonderful way to begin my time in New York, visiting, being there for Manchester City's U.S. tour. Was this soccer podcast live event with a bunch of other football enthusiasts? Yeah, so bring on this homie. He is a Manchester United fan. He has a podcast of his own. So we're definitely gonna have to talk about that. Shady Gang, please give it up for Simo. What's up? Oh, hold on, you muted.
Can everybody hear me? Am I good?
There we go. There we go.
Perfect. Look, first off, I want to thank you, gentlemen, for giving me the opportunity to be on your illustrious show.
Oh, man,
Second off, I want to say I support the one true team in Manchester. We all love our king, Marcus Rashford, OBE. So I want to put that out there. I'm a Manchester United
I've never
fan
actually
with no
been to
qualms.
Manchester.
Wait, are y'all?
I've never actually been. I was gonna say I've never been, but everybody that I talk to from over there tell me that you're not even actually in Manchester. You just wearing a name.
Listen, when I die, bury me in the Stretford end. That's all I care about.
You know what? I appreciate the.
Hey, look, the last thing I'll say about Manchester and their players for right now. You guys mentioned company being at Bayern, company at Burnley. I don't think Bayern is his level. Nevertheless, Burnley, I think Accrington Stanley, they're number 22 in League Two.
We will not stand for Vincent Company slander on this show. That's what we will not do. Look, you could have picked a lot of people, and I would have just let that slide. But Vincent Company is probably one of the reasons why I am a City fan. I will not tolerate it. It will not slide.
Hey, look,
pick on Raheem Sterling. Pick on Raheem Sterling. Everybody else wants to right now. You can talk about him all day. Nobody's gonna have a problem. But just leave my guy Company out of this,
bro.
Look, Connor was being too nice. He was being way too nice. He was being too complimentary. I had to come with that hateful energy. Listen, I'm not here for it. Look, you see it? Red Devils. That's what we're about here.
You know what I will say? And I got to give you guys props. Those the new jerseys, the white ones, the Adidas ones with the trefoil or whatever. Those are fire. I hate, and hate's a strong word. I hate Manchester United, but those are fire.
Listen, my second team in Europe that I like to support is Drip Saint Germain, and it's because of the drip. That's it. It's because they always got nice gear, and the checkbook is unlimited, right? Anybody they want, they'll go out and get. So I levitate towards them. But United, these last 2 years, I want to say, when they reverted back to the old logo, it's been class. It's been class. But once again, thank you, gentlemen, for having me on.
Of course. Oh man.
Wait, I'm looking in the chat, and Ash is like, "Hold up, don't come for Raz either." If Raz was even considering, I don't think he was, but if he was even considering going to United, then he deserves any hate he gets. It just is what it is. But I understand, Ash. It's okay.
No, I don't think Raheem Sterling is like Carlos Tevez. I don't think he has the love where he could just jump between both and still be loved. I think he's going to lose a lot of goodwill at City if he does that.
Well, there's a lot of conversations between whether it be United, whether it be Arsenal. There's a lot of conversations around him right now. Again, he's making too much money. I probably wouldn't go nowhere if I was him. But it is what it is.
I think this is already like people who were just waiting to go at him have already gone at him. Like people are just going crazy off of a rumor. They're basically they've already destroyed and have ripped up all whatever positive thoughts of him.
Yeah, I'll say this: I got a Raheem Sterling little Funko Pop over there, so I've never had any hate for Raheem. But I will say, once he left and went to Chelsea, I mean, at that point, it was over with, right? So whatever he does after that, to me, doesn't matter because he's already left us. So if he goes to United, he goes to Arsenal, he goes wherever, I don't really care because it's all the same. You left, and it is all the same to me.
No, I would care if he went to United.
What's the difference? United versus Chelsea versus whatever.
Go back to Liverpool. Like at least like you'd be like going back and blah blah. Even though they
All the
made
same,
it miserable
man.
there and the hate was awful, blah blah blah. But I at least like like we were talking about, if you like with Gundo, if you go back to your old work, I guess that makes sense. But you going to them, you going to them.
Now Raheem also has a different pair of coworkers now. If you were to go back to City, it's a whole different group of people. Yeah, the manager is still there, right? But the coworkers are now different. Yeah.
It's a completely different vibe. Yeah. Oh no, I'm with you.
So talk to me about Joshua Xerxes.
What can I say? One of the names one of the subjects I proposed was excellent haircuts. What more needs to be said, right? 6'3", strong gentleman, great haircut. Listen, his knee was 2 inches above where it should have been. Any other reality or world, if his knee is a little bit lower, we take that result.
I like it. I like it. Okay, so how did let's even start here. How did you become a United fan in the first place?
Yeah. Okay. So United is obviously a global club. It's huge. Everybody, I would say, knows about United. Listen, there's a
What's that got to do with you?
I was affected. I was affected by their growth and the globalization of United, right? Obviously, Rooney being on all the FIFAs is gonna have something to do with that, right? Like there's I'm an older Gen Zer, right? And so I teeter that line where I still remember going out and watching highlights later in the day because I didn't have all the broadcasting rights. I'm Moroccan, right? As you can see, this right here, Raja Casablanca. I'll talk a little bit about that later. It's one of the greatest clubs in the world, one of the best African clubs. I got so much. I will get the eagle, green eagle, and alien tattooed on my chest if my mother wouldn't disown me, but that's another discussion. With United, I just remember seeing Rooney commercials. Rooney was the player I really fell in love with. Obviously, Cristiano was there at that time. I want to say 07, 08, winning the Champions League. I was too young for me to really understand the concept of just how great that was, but seeing the elders in my family, seeing people around me, how much they really appreciated and how much they loved United. I have an uncle of mine who to this day says Sir Alex Ferguson, no matter what, is the greatest manager of all time. And there's nothing you can say to sway him. It doesn't matter if you tell him, well, Pep, listen, he might go on a 5P, he's doing trebles with different countries. Doesn't matter, Sir Alex Ferguson. So I would say my uncle Tofik was a pretty big influence on me supporting United. And like I said, it's when Sergio Ramos injured Mohamed Salah in the Champions League, my uncle hates Liverpool so much that he said, listen, he's at his job. He has to do what he has to do.
I like it. I like it. And I, typical American, was playing FIFA and I saw Man City in the second division, and I was like, I too was a kid, and I was like, what? There's another team in Manchester, and they're blue. I love this logo. I love the shade of blue. Like you can see it now. Like look at it, how it's popping on the skin.
It's a nice color. It's a nice color. Sky blue, it's nice.
Right? It's sky. Like come on, man. Who does like it? And so yeah, I was just kind of all in then, and I hopped on the team and just the players on it. A fair amount of them looked like me, which I wasn't expecting. I didn't know. I was just like a kid playing a. That was really cool. And I also played rugby growing up. So that kind of like doubled down me into just the whole alternative sports here in America. But like you said, it was very tough to watch anything for a very long time. And I would make do with what I could. And just every year I've taken it more and more seriously and dived in. I don't have the like wealth of knowledge or the uncles or cousins and things like that. So I'm just doing what I can to really soak up as much of the culture and understanding as possible. And, it's been a fun ride.
I will say it helped a lot. Being from a different country and being here, you don't have access to all the channels, and so
Yeah.
a lot of the time you got to go and get the satellite. And so when you set up the satellite, now you start getting all the international channels. You're stealing cable. You're having a good time, and so that helped out a lot with being able to see different teams. So I remember one of my earliest random Champions League memories is like watching a random game. I don't remember who the other team was, but I vividly remember Dynamo Zagreb was playing, and so it was just very cool to see it. I'm here in right outside DC. I'm in the DMV, so to see it in Arabic being transported over through the satellite and watching a Dynamo Zagreb game was pretty cool, and I think that just helped me love the international aspect of the sport so much.
Yeah. That's dope. And I have a homie. He's Moroccan in Morocco right now for a friend of his. He's getting married, and I've just been watching everything that he's posting and the amount of places, random places he's been where people are playing soccer, are kicking a tiny ball around or something. It's really cool. And also Morocco, as a football country, successfully within the last like decade or two. I mean, obviously they have a historic, but you every single like major competition, I feel like they've made more and more noise. Like they went from being this kind of like dark horse to now it's just like, nah, you got to respect them. They're gonna be fucking trouble. And it's been I've always rooted for Morocco just because I feel like I root for as many African teams.
You'll have a permanent spot on Simo Speaks from here on out. That's all you had to say.
He didn't even have to name drop any players.
Listen, you just have to name drop the country. That's good enough for me. It's not too late for you too. Come on.
I mean,
I don't know. To see, I'm still waiting for you to apologize to Vinny Company. I need the apology to be just as loud as the disrespect, my good sir.
Fair enough. But no, I will say, do you think Company apologized in that last video that just came out of Company talking to the players?
No.
He had to stick by what he said.
I will say, I guess I was a little disappointed. Not because, again, being a manager, you don't have to be gruff or aggressive, but I mean, you got to know what you're talking about, and you got to hold people to a high standard, right? At this level, you got to meet the standard. And if you're not, I got to call you out and force you to come up. So I get that. But it was just a different look. It was a different look that, I imagine if you were, so that's what he's doing as a manager. Just imagine being a player, being, the right back or whoever that made a mistake and cost a goal, and you go into the locker room at halftime. He was probably giving it to you. So yeah, it was a little crazy, but I'm always going to be a Vinny Company fan.
I just want to know, like, because we're all talking about the same video where he went at the guy, but like, have we seen more? Have they kept releasing videos of him specifically yelling at people? Because
it was yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt, but like I will say, look, the only thing I think that's really different now versus like 25 years ago is that there's a PR, like there's a social media team that's recording that, right? But how is that different than the hair dryer treatment, right? Sir Alex Ferguson threw a boot at David Beckham. I think that's a bit worse than yelling at somebody.
Like, especially me playing rugby growing up, that was my manager. That was my coach. That's how he talked to us during practice. Like, if there's a place where I can be as like radically, obviously throughout history of many sports, people go way too far, but if there is one place where you can be like radically honest, and honestly, it's fucking Burnley, bro. If there's a place where you have to be like, you guys are being pieces of fucking shit, this is why you're here, you over here bitching and moaning and whining, if you have to go at somebody, no, don't protect this little bitch, he's a bitch. Like, that's what he was doing.
I've gotten soft in my old age. I got girls, I'm a girl dad, but I will tell you that as a kid, I was born in Indiana, just for the record. But I said I could never go there because, again, basketball was my first love. I was probably never good enough.
So you loved Hoosiers?
No, as a matter of fact, I would never have gone there. I said I would never go there because they had Bobby Knight. And what you're not going to do is throw a chair at me. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
that I was not going to go for. Right,
manager, you are.
So yeah, no. But I ended up moving away. My dad was in the Army, so we lived all over. But yeah, whatever. So yeah, no, I could never have played there.
Listen, I watched the Amazon documentary. As much love I'll show to Man City ever, the Company seems like a pretty cool guy to play with. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, he's a dope dude. So we're talking about Morocco. Who is your favorite player for playing for the country?
Right now, currently, or all time? Right now, I would say favorite player when he's fit and when he's playing, I think is Dinu Nahi. He plays for Olympique Marseille. I think he's the most creative player. I think he's the most fun to watch. I think if he could stay fit, the ability is availability, but he can't stay available. But I think he's he's the most pure footballer in terms of technique, but in terms of explosiveness. Right now, Hakimi under Luis Enrique is just balling out.
I
That
was gonna
fullback
say.
position, he's getting goals like he's playing. He's supposed to be playing in that final third when he's supposed to. It's cool to see him really shift into that dynamic role, kind of what he was doing at Inter for that one season.
So there was some discussion, I don't know, early in the transfer window about him potentially ending up at City. How bad would you have hated that? Because you would have had to root for us at that point.
No, I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't. Yeah, like for example, Amrabat, right? Amrabat's a Moroccan at United, and like my friends every morning, every Saturday, every Premier League morning, hey, good morning, Amrabat is shit, like good morning, Amrabat sucks, and so like halfway through, I was like, I'm off this guy. I'm sick of this guy. This guy's getting high before the games. He's smoking a little bit. So I can't imagine how much I would start to hate Hakimi. It might start affecting me. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't affect me when it comes to the national team. I can't lie. I can't make that. I can't say that.
Yeah, no, Hakimi's a baller. I would.
I was gonna say that
Well,
from the outside looking in, Hakimi's the big name, right? So it's easy to say Hakimi, right? That's why I asked who was yours, because you would know it more intimately than I would, of course. But I think he had some kind of a personal issue. So I think some people kind of got off him a little bit, but
yeah, I think there is a problematic history there, as with a lot of players, and when it comes to no and etc. So it's one of those.
Other than that, it's like he would be the dude that I would bring in, because he's a right back, right?
I guess I wasn't aware.
Yeah.
Yep. He'd be a bomb right back, bombing up and down the wing. Oh my God. Could you imagine what Pep could get out of that guy?
Yeah, I already don't hate watching City, right? Because you're like, wow, that was a good pass. And you're like, I'm turning this shit off. Watching this.
Oh, wait. Brahim Diaz is Moroccan?
Well, look, that was somebody. So I first started the podcast during the last African Cup of Nations tournament, and after the tournament was over, I made a little bit of a diaspora who we could get if possible, and the two big names that were on the list were Lamine Yamal at that point, and then Brahim Diaz, right? Because Lamine's dad is Moroccan. With Brahim, he had only played one game. Professionally, he was like one of those capped and dropped kind of situations. So you can make the appeal to FIFA, but he hasn't played in a real African tournament. So when I saw that he was up for African Player of the Year, like it was just like little rumors, feelers out there. I was not a fan of that at all. Like I'm not. Lookman, I would have given it to Lookman. It's one of those things that PR works harder sometimes than I guess results on the pitch do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Lookman, and he's had a wonderful season and so much success. Like truly, just and that's the amount of players like Lookman and many others who were kind of hated on during their time in the Premier League, and then they left and just thrived. And I love to see that, because don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of a club in the Premier League, but some people, they get a little tunnel vision when it comes to the Premier League and its greatness.
And I don't even like to touch this topic because my club is notorious for having players leave and level up and get better after they leave. There's a certain winger, Angel Di Maria, my boy Alan. He loved Di Maria, and so when we talk, oh man, definition of a crash out when it comes to Di Maria. He cannot stand that guy. He says he doesn't have the minerals. He says he doesn't have the gall, the personality, the soul, none of it. But you saw what he did at PSG. You saw what he's done at the international level. So no, I don't, like you said, I don't like getting tunnel vision by the Prem at all. I don't think it's a good barometer for a player's skill, especially if a player has hit multiple different leagues, right? They've jumped from league to league and they've adapted and still continuing to grow or be at a sustainable rate. I don't think it's fair to then say, oh, he didn't play in the Prem, or he didn't work out in the Prem, that's not a good player. And just to wrap up my point, that's to everybody that tells me Ashraf Hakimi is not a top 5 right back in the world because he doesn't play in the Prem. So that's how I wanted to bring it all back.
Hey, look at that. You can tell you're a pro. Okay, I mean, let's talk about your podcast though. Simo Speaks.
So it's like it's an idea I had the summer of 2023. Arsenal played the MLS All-Stars.
Oh yes.
In DC, and it was yeah. And so there was like a little party afterwards, a little get together, and me and a close friend of mine, EV, he was on my Real Madrid recap. He's a huge Madrid fan. I tell him one of the greediest fan bases on earth, right? Like I would love nothing more for 116 charges to go to Madrid, but it's one of those things. I started speaking more. Just it was a big soccer group of people there because it was right after the Arsenal game, and I was having really lively conversations. And I was like, man, everybody here is from the DMV. We all really like the sport. Why not just create a kind of like a platform for different people from the DMV to come on and speak about what they want to? So on my show personally, everybody is from the DMV originally, right? So a lot of them are children of immigrants or immigrants, but raised in DMV, and it's only about three of us that are United fans. There's more Liverpool fans, there's more Arsenal fans, and I try to have like a rotating group of my friends and different people that just love sports. So last week's episode was Coach from the Shirtless Plantain Show, so I got to interview him a bit, ask him about his first memories with Arsenal and how he really got to love the team. We do little games here and there, like build your own 11 of your all time, and so it really is sort of analytical, but it's more so just to really shoot the shit and just have a good time on camera.
I love it. I love it. It's I'm always jealous because we're City fans. Coach is he's nice to us. But that's a
Being
big
political. He's being political because we're all in the same sphere of the world. He can't really say what he wants.
no, he just doesn't stand against City. And so it's like he just keeps us away because he doesn't know what he can and can't say with us. So he's like when he comes to us like at the thing, he came to me and he was just like, hey, I really do appreciate you coming here. But yeah, it's his hate for Man City is real. So he's just like, I can't stand it, be around for you too long, or else I start getting the shakes. And it's like respect. Oh man. Okay. So let's have you talk about this match. Like, how do you see the game against Liverpool going? Like, are you positive? Are you looking forward to this match? Because I'll just say from my end, it's really a lose-lose for me because like I don't really want to see either team happy, and so like a draw is what I want, but I really want Liverpool to lose because I think United's going to struggle more this year than Liverpool. So like it's just a needy.
You're just doing a numbers game.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, for you it's a numbers game.
He doesn't think you guys are going to be any good, so he'd rather Liverpool. That's what he's really trying to say.
I've tuned into a few episodes before this one. I know what the show you're just trying to put on for me, but I get it. It's fine. I want to reluctantly say we're going to pick up 3 points at home.
Let's go.
Yeah, no, I don't think top 8. I know Connor was saying he thinks we'll be more in the top. I think top 4 is where we're going to be. I definitely believe Ineos has came in, plugged some holes. I'm not a fan of Ten Hag bringing in De Ligt like 20 minutes at the end of the game. I think with center back should start the whole game. So I think it's still a little bit of technical things that he needs to fix, but it's unfortunate. You pay 60 million for a teenager and then they break their foot, Lenny Yoro in this case as a center back. But you can't really control that, right? But in terms of the new signings, I think De Ligt has been great. I think Moroccan Nusser Mazraoui has been fantastic. Thank God he's not at Bayern working for company. Oh my goodness. So I do like some of the signings we make. I'm really happy about Ahmad starting. I think that's really good for us. I was nervous about his pace. I don't think he's the fastest guy, but he's proven me wrong. He's doing what he needs to do. Nusser Mazraoui assisted him for a great goal. The one sore spot I have, something that I'm not, I'm hesitant about this year is Rashford, right? I love the guy, but I do think that times kind of, he's a great player, but like you got to give us something or else it's not going to be good. Like you got to do something.
So if you're the manager, if you're ETH, you're planning for the game, do you start Rashford or do you start Garnacho?
I start Rashford, but that's me. Yeah, I start Rashford. Also, I don't know how well they're doing in training, right? I'm not there, but if Garnacho is outperforming Rashford by a mile, then obviously Garnacho. But for now, I would do Rashford. He's played that fixture so many times before, and I feel like that kind of mental stuff matters a bit. He's a Mancunian academy, so that's a fixture that's going to mean more to him a bit than obviously Garnacho's academy, but he came to the academy at 16, 17 years old. It's not the
Sure,
same as
sure.
being 6 years old. And so it's one of those things where, unless Garnacho is in a purple patch, this is like a fixture that's halfway through the season. I'm going with Rashford for now, just because it's still so fresh and so early.
Okay. Okay. Well, before we get you out of here, please, one more time, plug yourself. Let people know where they can find you and your show.
You can find me on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube. It's Simo, Simo Speaks. I cover Manchester United. I cover combat sports, so UFC, and we dabble into boxing a little bit. I cover Morocco, and I cover a lot of African soccer and African sport as a total. On my YouTube channel, I do have a lot of old AFCON fixtures from 2006, 2007, 2008 that I've uploaded in full. So if you ever want to watch Libya versus Egypt, Nigeria versus Tunisia, or a different conglomeration, it's on my YouTube channel. 480p, sorry, not HD.
Hey, we know what you got. Do what you got to do, right? Especially for the culture. All right, homie. Well, please. We'll be in touch. I feel like I need to bring this energy for a breaking bread. So when we face each other, we do match previews, and I bring somebody on from the other team. So I'm gonna bring you on for United because these last few ones, it's been nice, it's been polite, and I've been trying to be spicy. I've been spicy on it. I've been trying to get them, but they're like, I'm being nice back. Nah, bro. We need to be shooting those shots back and forth.
No, I got you. I know what I'm doing. I got it.
All right. Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
You have a good rest of your night.
Appreciate it, man. Great.
Yes. Oh man, what a show! Shout out to our guests, Ash, Connor, Simo. We will be back next week with amazing special guests that I know off the top of my head, and I am definitely not looking it up right now.
Although we can hear the pages turning.
Huh?
What pages? What are you talking
about? So shout out to Andy Diasa, Alex Winley, and Douglas Rea Ciron. Yes, my awful handwriting. I didn't just throw a book. We out here. Oh man. Just tap in with and also shout out to everybody who's listening to the podcast audio version of this, obviously in the future. Present for you right now listening. Shout out to you. We are out of here. We will be back Saturday morning. Is that when the game is? Saturday? Sunday?
It's
I know.
Saturday. I think it's Saturday.
Yes, Saturday 9, something like that. I'll post about it. You know the vibes. Shady gang, shady gang, shady gang.